There's a new contender in town, Honor's latest flagship, the Honor 400 Pro, and it's doing everything it can to turn heads. At first glance, you're met with numbers that sound almost too good to be true. A 200 megapixel main camera, a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, 100-watt fast charging, and a display with an eye-searing 5,000 nits of peak brightness. These are premium flagship specs, but the price tag is noticeably lower than what you'd pay for something like a Galaxy S24 Ultra or iPhone 15 Pro Max. So the question becomes, is this a true flagship killer, or just another phone chasing big numbers without real-world finesse? Honor isn't cutting corners with hardware. The 400 Pro is a well-built device with a curved glass front and back, sandwiching a sleek metal frame. It feels every bit like a flagship in the hand, solid, substantial, and beautifully finished. It comes with IP68 and IP69 certifications, which means you're getting top-tier protection from dust and water, matching the durability of the best out there. However, it's not the most original design. The layout and camera module are somewhat familiar, echoing design cues from previous Honor models and even some Huawei flagships. It's elegant, no doubt, but it plays it safe in terms of aesthetics. One thing to note, it's a bit on the heavy side, which gives it a premium feel but may fatigue some users with prolonged one-handed use. Now we're talking. The 6.78-inch LTPO AMOLED display on this phone is one of the best panels in its class. With a 1.5K resolution and adaptive 120Hz refresh rate, it's sharp, smooth, and vibrant. But the standout spec? 5,000 nits peak brightness. That number sounds ridiculous, and in real-world usage, it kind of is. This phone remains easily viewable even under direct sunlight, something most flagships struggle with. Color calibration is well tuned out of the box with support for wide color gamut and HDR10+. Blacks are inky, whites are crisp, and viewing angles are rock solid. The LTPO tech also helps save battery by dialing down the refresh rate when it's not needed. Bottom line, this display punches way above its price bracket and gets you 90% of the way to what Samsung and Apple offer, without the price markup. Under the hood, the Honor 400 Pro is powered by the Snapdragon 8's Gen 3 chipset, backed by up to 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM and 512 gigabytes of UFS 4.0 storage. In terms of raw performance, you're looking at a phone that handles everything with ease, from casual tasks and social media to demanding 3D games and multitasking. Benchmark scores are up there with flagship devices, and thermals are well managed thanks to a respectable vapor chamber cooling system. However, software is where things start to polarize. The phone runs Android 14, layered with Magic OS 8.0. Magic OS has come a long way, but it still suffers from UI clutter, duplicate apps, and aggressive background task killing. Power users will notice some micromanagement with notifications and background apps, unless they dig deep into the settings to disable battery optimizations. It's fast and stable, but not as clean or intuitive as Oxygen OS or Pixel UI. Let's talk about the headline feature, that 200 megapixel main sensor. It's paired with a 50 megapixel telephoto lens and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. On paper, this camera array sounds like a dream setup, and in daylight, it nearly is. The main sensor uses pixel binning to produce 12.5 megapixel images by default, but you can shoot in full resolution if you want to crop or get crazy detail. Daylight performance is excellent. Sharp images, strong dynamic range, and natural color science. The 2.5x telephoto performs very well, especially for portraits, and maintains good detail even in moderate zoom ranges. The ultra-wide camera is competent, but lags behind the main and telephoto sensors in terms of sharpness and exposure control. In low light, however, the Honor 400 Pro's camera tuning starts to show its limits. While night mode can help salvage dim shots, there's a tendency toward aggressive noise reduction and smoothing, which can wash out skin textures and fine details. The AI post-processing often favors punchy colors and contrast over realism, which may not suit photography purists. Video performance is solid with up to 4K 60 FPS recording, but stabilization isn't quite as good as what you get on Galaxy or iPhone flagships. Still, for casual users and even content creators on a budget, this is a very capable shooter, just not the absolute best in class. The 5,300 mAh battery is another standout feature. This phone easily pushes through a full day, even with heavy usage, thanks in part to the LTPO panel and software optimizations. Light to moderate users can expect well over a day and a half of use. But the real highlight, 100-watt wired fast charging. It goes from 0 to 100% in under 30 minutes. That's game-changing, especially if you're coming from an iPhone or older Android with slower charge times. And if that wasn't enough, it also supports 66-watt wireless charging, which is faster than many phones' wired speeds. If you care about fast top-ups and zero downtime, the Honor 400 Pro has you covered. So where does that leave us? The Honor 400 Pro is a serious contender that offers top-tier hardware at a more accessible price. Its display is among the brightest and most color-accurate out there. Performance is excellent, charging speeds are borderline absurd, and that 200-megapixel camera, while occasionally inconsistent, delivers stunning results in good lighting. But it's not perfect. The software experience still needs polish. Camera tuning in low light could be improved, and if you're coming from something like Pixel UI or Samsung One UI, Magic OS might feel like a step backward in user experience. That said, if you're looking for a phone that looks, feels, and performs like a flagship, without the $1,200 price tag, the Honor 400 Pro is arguably one of the best value phones of 2025. Just be ready to tinker a bit with the software to make it truly yours. If your priorities are display quality, charging speed, and powerful hardware, and you're okay with some software trade-offs, this phone should absolutely be on your radar. Honor is stepping up in a big way. And the 400 Pro shows they're not just playing catch-up anymore. If you're the kind of buyer who wants to spend wisely but still demands flagship performance, this could be your next daily driver.